All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow, and remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest for you. I'll give you a couple of words about my guest. Choices, health, food, lifestyle, all the way from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Give it up for Mr. Chef Anthony Thomas. How are you?
Hey, I'm blessed. How about yourself?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Thank you for coming to the show, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, no problem. Now, man, as I said before, a couple of words I used was health, food, lifestyle, choices. Mm-hmm. You're here to talk about your health conscious cookbook for children. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yep. So, my fifth book is called The Little Vegan Chef.
Okay.
So I actually created it during the pandemic. So me, my wife, and my daughter were kind of just cooped up in our condo, you know, not knowing what's really going on,
Sure.
you know, having a curfew, you know, the only place we can go to is the grocery stores, and that's pretty much it, and back home. So during that time period, I'm at home just preparing different meals, various food for the household. And I'm like, you know, with a deadly virus that's going around the entire country, going around the entire world, we need to be more health conscious and need to make better decisions. And one thing I do know is that, you know, not really bashing any other diets, but becoming a vegan is probably the healthiest lifestyle to have. So with that, I kind of wanted to introduce that to the world through the book. I know parents are at home with their kids, and you know, with them at home with their children. You know, I wanted to make it something more interactive with the kids and the parents. So the recipes are very simple, to the point, quick, easy vegan recipes. Some of the recipes I've done with my daughter, and some of them I eat on a regular basis. You know, small stuff like from just having pico de gallo in the refrigerator, you know, to have on top of some like a hummus wrap or something. I think I even have a hummus recipe. I have a couple fun, quick salad dressing recipes, avocado cream dressing, vegan Caesar dressing, you know, things like that. Not to give you too much, but these are nice, fun recipes that I wanted to introduce to the world and introduce to people, and have, even like I said, have kids in the kitchen interacting with their family and being able to put these fun recipes together.
Okay. Now, what drove you towards the vegan lifestyle? Like, what's the backstory with that?
Yeah, so in 2006, I was diagnosed with an AVM, which is a rare brain deformity where basically blood doesn't flow properly. So as a child, I used to have these migraines and headaches once a week, and you know, once, twice a week, I would just have these headaches, and you know, I would have to take my glasses off. I couldn't be around certain sunlight, and I never knew what it was. So one day, my blood pressure had rose to 180 over 100. I couldn't breathe, and I went to a hospital out here, and they told me that you have a rare brain deformity called Arteriovenous Malformation, and you can get surgery or you can leave here and your brain will continue to leak blood. I said, let's go ahead and knock it out. I'm 19 years old. I'm a sophomore in college. Let's get it situated. I went and got the surgery. Surgery was supposed to be 8 hours, ended up being 13 hours. I had to learn how to walk again, talk again, had to get my equilibrium back. But ultimately, since then, because I took on a vegan lifestyle afterwards. Prior to that, I had a really poor diet. So, you know, college kids, you know, they don't have the best diets.
No, they don't. No.
So I was eating pretty poor. And once I took on a vegan lifestyle, I just noticed a change in my physique, how slim I was. I noticed my skin had a different type of glow. I noticed I didn't perspire as much. You know, it's just a lot of different, like, small changes. You know, you just overall, like, when you wake up in the morning, instead of having that sluggish feel, like you don't want to do anything, you just have, like, a ton of energy.
Okay. All right. Well, man, you know, I think that's wonderful, you know, and you mentioned, man, you said something, basically, you know, eating habits, and not just like, you know, college students, you know, there are just people out here, and let's just, like, you know, say it for, you know, pretty much what it is. Certain people out here live in food deserts, okay?
Yep.
So you know, the only store may be the corner store. And going to this corner store, man, there's going to be options that, man, these options do not cause for a healthy lifestyle. And they have those things, you know, the headaches and the breathing problems and the sluggish feelings or whatever. But I want to talk about that for a second. Let's just lean into that a second. And I know we can't fix the problem here, you know, like this isn't a one-stop shop, okay?
Right.
But I just want to address the issue, like for those who live in those areas, you know, who can't afford to go to maybe the Whole Foods or, you know, man, maybe the, you know, best grocery store is 5-10 miles away from here. You know, there's no transportation to get me there. How can those people, just little small things, nothing real big, but little small things, you know, how can they, you know, change up a eating habit? You know, like let's say someone loves cookies, you know, like, okay, I'm running through 3 packs of Oreos a week, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially if they the mint flavor, you know, like, man, okay, I'm running through those. So but how can I tweak that? How can I get a more sustainable snack to curb my hunger? Like, what are some of your suggestions or tips with that?
Appetite suppressants, things like sunflower seeds, peanuts, almonds, tablespoon of peanut butter. Eat that. Well, you know, a better alternative is almond butter. Has a lot of oil in it, but you just mix it up a little bit. Don't take that same thing, put it on one of those whole grain pita wraps, you know, maybe with a little bit of jelly. And, you know, now you got something real quick, real easy. I like to actually take a little spread of hummus over top of my whole grain pita wrap and stuff it with just veggies. Sauteed onions, sauteed bell peppers, a little bit of sauteed kale. And that's a whole meal. If you want to add a little mushrooms, throw a little bit of mushrooms in there. Cook up some jackfruit. Jackfruit comes right out of a can, very inexpensive, and it tastes like chicken. So take that, strain it out a little bit, get all the juice and whatnot off of it. Add a little barbecue sauce, a little hot sauce. You know, season up a little bit. And I mean, it's really amazing what you can do. The alternatives, options that you can choose to eat a little bit healthy. And these things don't even cost that much. A pack of whole grain wraps will probably run you about $3 to $4.
Okay.
You get you about 5 or 6 cans of jackfruit for $3 a piece. You know, it's all about what you decide what you want to eat. Because I mean, if you go to the carryout and you're spending about $15, $16 on one meal of fried rice, chicken wings, and maybe 4 steak and cheese egg rolls, you spend about $15. But for $15, I just told you a whole meal that can last you an entire week. You know?
Yeah.
But and who's to say to you, oh, I'll get tired of eating the same thing every day? Well, if you put hummus spread on there and toss in some fresh sliced cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, and black beans and corn, and then you take that same wrap and then you add the next day, you can have, instead of having those same things, you can roast some of those tomatoes. Like I said, and then you can do the sauteed onions, bell peppers, and jackfruit.
Okay.
Or you can hold off the jackfruit. Instead of putting barbecue sauce on jackfruit, you can just have buffalo sauce. You know, and these different things just give you variety, so you don't always feel like you're eating the same thing, but you're also eating very, very clean.
Okay.
Yep.
I think that's the key thing, and especially when it comes to, you know, your cookbook, you know, and I like the fact that it's for children. And 9 times out of 10, if the parent's preparing the meal for the child, you know, the parent can eat this way as well. So not only are you getting the child healthy, you know, you're getting yourself healthy as well. And pretty much as you said, look, some people out here are going to blow, man, you're talking about $15. I know people out here that's going to blow, man, way more than that on a meal, you know, and really not have anything to show for it.
This is all day long. Like, I know individuals who go to the little breakfast spot, get a breakfast sandwich and an orange juice or, you know, whatever. And then it's $15 just on breakfast, just a sandwich and OJ. And then for lunch, they spent $20 on a lobster roll with chips, or, you know, I don't know, French fries or something. And then they go into that carry-out and spending another $15, $20. You know, so they just spend about $40 all in one day on, I don't want to call it garbage, but on items that aren't the healthiest choices. When they could have spent $40, and imagine if you do that 5 days a week, that's $200. $200 doesn't go you a long way in Whole Foods, but I can tell you this much: if you're buying fresh veggies and fresh fruit, you can make it go a longer way.
Once again, choices is a word that I use. If you're making the proper choice, then man, these are the types of outcomes you can have. If people want to get a hold of you, how can people get in contact with you? If they want to get like recipes, if they just need, you know, hey, you know, I want to try something new. I really don't know. So how can people follow you?
Yep. On Instagram, it's Chef Anthony DC. Or they can just go to my website. I have all my books on there. I have a lot of recipe videos on there. A lot of different press of different publications who have written stories, or different even publications, media that I've been on. You know, different TV shows, just sort of different news segments I've done. But that's ChefAntonyThomas.com.
Okay. Now, is everything like health oriented, or, you know, is it some behind the scenes stuff? We get to see, you know, you and the fam like acting crazy.
Oh yeah. So I think my Instagram page is so diverse that most people don't know what I'm going to post. Like, because I don't strategically say, okay, I'm only going to post vegan food. I'm only going to do this. Like, I may have a video of me at my event cooking, and then the next day it may be me and the wife out on date night, and then after that, it may be my daughter's clothing line or something. You know, it's just, I try to give them a well-rounded page of so much, you know, and then you may have vegan dishes. Then you may have butter poached lobster mashed potatoes. Then you may have something more unhealthy like, well, that's something I say that's not as healthy with all that butter and heavy cream. But something healthier like sauteed kale with brown rice and pan-seared salmon, you know.
Okay.
You may have something like that in a meal prep. So
I like that. That sounds real good, man. You're like, yes. Okay.
I try to give you know, some people don't eat, you know, chicken, turkey, and pork, and they only eat, they're pescatarians. So I try to cater to them by providing a lot of seafood recipes. And then you have people who, you know, just love everything smothered. So I have a lot of smothered recipes. And some people just want something strictly, you know, meatless, and I try to cater to them as well.
Okay, so it's the diversity, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So if we go to your website, look through like these books or what have you, are all these books on being a vegan and eating correctly, and, you know, doing what you need to do to, you know, just make your, you know, whole body right, or what have you?
Yeah. So my third book on there is called Meal Prep is the New Leftovers. That book is actually a self-help meal prep guide on how to meal prep effectively. Because a lot of people just go to the grocery store and just aimlessly just buy a bunch of food and end up throwing it away about 5 or 6 days later.
Yeah.
I've actually created like an entire meal plan for them, but I also created a 7-step guide to show people, you know, before you go to the grocery store, make a list. You know, you get home, when you get in the grocery store, how to actually purchase everything, you know, making sure you're buying quantities that you need. And then when you come back home, how to know which order to cook everything in. Because you don't want to come home and start cooking the shrimp first, and that takes 8 minutes. And then you have sweet potatoes you need to bake in the oven, and those take 50 minutes. So you bake those sweet potatoes in the oven first,
right,
and then you start cooking everything else. So, this takes 30 minutes on the stove, and then this takes 20 minutes. And then by the time you look up, you only spent the hour in the kitchen as opposed to 6 hours in the kitchen, and you didn't get anything done.
Smart. That's why he's the chef. He knows what he's doing.
Yep.
He does this. Go see him. Go to the website. All right. Man, look here. I'm loving this information. You know, you're over here dropping this knowledge. But this brings us to the last question of, you know, the interview, the question my show is known for. So I have to ask, Chef Anthony Thomas, what is the one word that best describes you and why?
Best
One word that describes me. I would say survivor.
Okay.
And I say that for many purposes because you know how people say, I'm not even supposed to be here. No, I'm supposed to be here. When, you know, they go into your head and they open up your head, you're literally, you're not really necessarily alive. There's something breathing for you, you know? And for me to have gone through that at such a young age and 14 years later to still be here with 0 reoccurring migraines, or I have not had a headache since. I'm not knocking on no wood. I just thank the Lord every day that I wake up. And, you know, I have no reason to ever be upset about anything because I'm like, life is so precious, you know, and a lot of people, you know, when I see people complain about things, I'm like, life could be so much worse, you know, and the faster we realize that things could be worse and that we're actually blessed to be able to wake up, to breathe on our own, to see on our own, to hear on our own, to touch and walk, you know, things like that, things we don't even pay attention to, you know, the faster we'll be like, actually, I am blessed. You know, I may not have $10 million or this and that, you know, I may not have that fancy car that, you know, I see on TV or these brands. I may not have all these chains and this and that, but I have my health, you know, and that's something that, you know, I don't want people to take for granted is having good health, you know, not being on any medication, because there's people on medication. There's people who I actually went to, a young lady invited me to, one of her friends had AVM. She read my story and she was like, you know, they're actually having like a ceremony for the young lady. She got the surgery at 17 years old and she died at 18.
Wow. Same
Hospital, you know? So she was like, I really want you to come down here and meet her parents. And what's crazy is her parents own a restaurant in DC. So, you know, it just kind of, it was like we just come from the same cloth. I cook, they got a restaurant, they cook, their child had an AVM, you know? So, you know, just being grateful for life and, you know, surviving those things is nothing but a blessing.
Man, true words never been spoken, brother. Like, look, once again, I just want to thank you for sharing your story, dropping the insight, you know, and, you know, just dropping like, you know, some knowledge, you know, just on basic things that we can do to just tighten up our health. You know, because especially in the African-American community, with everything going on, you know, we already have underlying conditions. And if we can get those like somewhat straightened out, you know, man, 30, 40%, 50%, you know, man, without having to go see medical, you know, professionals or what have you, then, man, that's a step in the right direction. And that's, you know, basically that's a long step towards longevity. So I agree, man. And I just, once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your words.
Thank you for having me though.
Man, absolutely. No problem, brother. Once again, this has been Ty Brownlow. This is Word with Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Word with Ty Brownlow. Or you can just go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Get this wonderful interview plus other great interviews. Chef Anthony Thomas, thank you, sir. Peace.
Thank you.
Out.
No, peace.